Podcast, episode 42. What the fuck is up, people? It's your boy, International Walk, and your girl.
Your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest. I don't need you to say
Wow.
a piece of it, because then you throw me off. Because
Okay.
if you say it's your girl and then I say your girl, it's like redundant and it confuses me.
We back. It's your boy, International Walk.
And it's your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
Okay, now that we got that straight, it's what we call a redo in the business. You know, we could edit that out or something like that.
Or not.
Yeah, or not. We back, people. Act 2 the podcast, episode 42. Go to the Act 2 podcast website. We are on Anchor. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Breaker. We are on Google Podcasts. So go and check us out. Get the views up. Check us out. Dope content. Episode 41 is getting a lot of raves, a lot of reviews. So get on that. You know, don't know what the fuck y'all waiting on, but get on that. Again, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and YouTube. And you can catch clips of us on the gram.
And another live episode coming soon.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
No.
How are you? But let's not joke about that, because we really be serious. I
know it's a we play with it, but it's dead serious.
It's serious. I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm doing good.
Break it down for me. Mental, work, finance.
My mental is my mental is a 9.
A 9?
Yeah, I'm gonna say my mental is a 9. You know, I was gonna say an 8.
Elaborate.
Because it's a lot of stuff on my mind, but not bad stuff. Just, you know, sometimes I can be a scatterbrain thinking like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this. And it starts to clog up my brain. I just need to let that go. You know, it's nothing bad or whatever. So I'm in a good place mentally. I'm getting better, and I feel good. I'm a 9.
Nueve. Work.
Work is an 8. No complaints. You know, it is what it is. Things, you know, it's work. Work is work. It ain't great. It ain't bad. I won't complain.
That's it?
That was one of my favorite gospel songs. I won't complain.
How'd it work out today with work?
It worked out well. You know, wasn't a little under the weather yesterday, so I had to take a day. But it worked out well.
Did you have the vid?
Heck no.
Oh.
Heck no.
AQ double hockey sticks? Hell no.
Yeah, no vid. No vid.
Finances.
My finances are an 8.
They're 8?
I'm going to say it's an 8 because...
Damn.
But 8 is good. 8 is good because, you know, we have some grown-up responsibilities to handle. But the finances are there, so it's an 8 because it's like I wish we could do other stuff with the money. But it's really a 9. I'm gonna say it's really
a 9. Nueve?
You think it's why you questioning my answers?
I'm just making sure that I'm getting the numbers right. I'm not questioning them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say finances are a 9. We got some things that we have to handle. I'm grateful that we're able to handle them. And you know, I would rather do other things with the money.
I'm sure you would.
There are some adult things that need to be handled, so it is what it is.
Like we would get this joke, but we're breaking the monster down.
Yeah. How are you?
I am jubilant.
Oh, that's a holiday word.
I'm jubilant.
Mentally, where are you at? Where you
Christmas
at?
is like next week.
You know, it's so weird you say that because you just said when is the 1st, it's coming. It feels like a week ago we were talking about at work, like, oh my God, I can't believe it's October 1st. And here we are about to be
November 1st.
It's crazy fast.
As soon as you eat that turkey, you're going to see cars with bows on it.
We ain't having no turkey.
I'm just saying, for most people out there, y'all eat the turkey. We don't celebrate that because
we do. We celebrate in a different way.
It was murderous.
Where are you mentally? You said you're jubilant. Give me a number.
A nueve. 9.
Oh, that's good.
I'll be a Nina. You good? You straight?
I'm good. I was letting you speak.
Just
you want to
asking.
add some language behind that? So.
Yeah, I'm a 9. I was a little bit lower, but I'm feeling good. Um, I think things are on a uproar, uprise, and yeah.
Uproar like a riot about to happen?
Both of them.
Yeah, uprise and uproar.
Yeah,
That's good.
Both of them. Both of them could be volatile, uprising and an uproar.
We don't want no volatility. Work. What's work like?
Work's a 9. My guys did great. They did awesome. Came to a good job today, clean job. They did great. So work is progressing. It's cool.
It's good to have a great team.
It is.
I've seen your progression in the mark of a good leader is building future leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Because anybody can lead followers, but how well can you create new leaders?
Yes.
Leadership 101.
And my guys will soon be leaders. Well,
leaderers?
Be leaders.
You said leaderers. You added a syllable. You added a syllable in that. It's recorded. You added a syllable.
Maybe my lip
You added a syllable. You said leaderers, but I knew you meant leaders.
Maybe my lip flip.
They'll be you guys will be leaders.
My lip fell.
So, okay.
Leaders. But they're getting there.
That's good. What the chicken looking like? What's your
chicken,
finances like?
That's a 2. It's like nothing fucking with you. The chicken.
The chicken, the broccoli, the spinach, the bread. Why is money referred to as all those food terms?
The guap, cheddar.
Food.
You said broccoli.
Spinach. Bread.
Yeah, chicken.
What is looking like?
It's finances has always got to look positive, so it's a 9. Yeah, it's a 9. Even though I just spent a nice chunk of change, it's 9. I am breaking the monster down, so it'll be back up.
What about your monster?
What?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's good to
sick.
hear. So you're a 9 across. Whoa. So I think we need to add some transparency here.
And I got a prescription.
So through our therapy sessions, you guys know we go to therapy. We've identified that I don't want to say he's created a spoiled monster because that's really not it. I have a husband who provides for me. We mutually provide, but he provides for me.
Makes it happen. It's fine if you said that.
He doesn't say no to things that I ask for. And I will say, I am not, if you know me, really know me, I like things. I'm not a materialistic woman at all. Nope. Names do nothing for me.
And I will back her on that.
You give me $1,000.
That doesn't mean she doesn't like nice things, but she's not a label person.
You give me $1,000. Some people might buy something really, really nice with that $1,000, like one item, maybe 2 items, and it may be really nice, all well and good. You give me $1,000, I'm gonna show you what I can do with this. I'm gonna stretch that money so far because I do like things, but I know how to shop thriftily. I might like something that's $2.
Thriftily?
Thriftily.
Thriftily.
I think it's thriftily.
No.
Thriftily?
You just added a syllable.
All right.
So we even.
Now you got me back.
We got double syllables.
Okay. I don't know if I buy anything that's necessarily $2, but I will wear something that's $12. I will wear something that's $200 if I like it. I do have limits on certain things that I will buy, but I like nice things. Nevertheless, materialism is not my thing. I like to buy things just period. So in therapy, they've labeled me as, and this is not just about buying things because I make my own money. I buy things with my own money. But when it comes to other things that, I want his money to buy, he doesn't tell me no. So now he feels like he has to break that cycle.
I think.
However, he doesn't tell himself no either.
First off, right now, I wasn't because I was just getting through my mentals and stuff. But she started talking about her. So we can talk about her.
No, you said I gotta break this monster down.
Yeah, but we know that's an inside joke to us. And
well, now it's on the outside.
That's all right. That's cool. Being transparent is fine. But there's some truth to that. That's all it is. It's not nothing where you got to take it as full negativity. You have a positive thing in your life, which is a great husband.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you're a great wife, which makes your great husband want to do those things for you. But he just also wants you to see the other side of his hat, where he has to have headship and man the bills and save money and all that stuff. So that's all he wants you to see. He don't want to, like, you this big. He don't want you to be this big.
I don't think there's any changes needed.
He still wants you to have all those things. He still want to go on trips with you. He still want to go places with you. But, you got to have a watchful eye. We've been on a plane so far every 90 days since we've been able to. And that's cool. One day I'll try to create a life where we can go every month. But that's not right now.
I don't think there's any changes required. That's
okay.
all I'm saying.
I do. And we're going to change a little bit.
What's your wows and woes? You want to go first?
Wows and woes.
So you want to start with your wow?
You go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your wow?
My wow.
What's your woe? Start with your wow. Or your woe.
Lights, Hollywood. Well, I won't just say Hollywood, but we just came back from a beautiful time together in Hollywood, California, Los Angeles, California. Love just being away. It was one of them experiences that was new and didn't really know what to expect. It was different for us in a lot of different ways, but more than anything, to be honest, we could have been in the middle of New Mexico, and I just enjoyed the time that we spent together.
We could have been in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, I definitely.
We would have found a janky hotel. We would have found places to eat.
No. I am not one of them hotels don't matter type
There's
girls.
No great ones out in Omaha.
There's no janky hotels. I'm not staying. Now I will say again, materialism, that ain't me. But I am not staying in anybody's janky hotel. Sorry.
In Omaha, there's gonna be a janky hotel.
But yeah, it was just a really nice time. Definitely want to go back to LA now that we kind of like have a feel. We do things a little bit differently. We are walkers. Like, we like to be up and about. Like, we can go to New York City and walk for hours. You find a lot of nice things to do and see and eat and all that kind of thing. LA is not a walkable town. Like, we were able to walk in the vicinity of where we were.
I think it depends on your hotel. Because those hotels in that area, if you come there for that Times Square feel, then that's the place for you. And you can walk to your eating spots, your Hollywood Walk of Fame, your museums and things like, if that's your thing. You can take the pictures with the fake Michael Jordans and all that kind of stuff, if that's your thing. But if you want to, like us, we want to see Crenshaw and Slauson. We want to go to fucking other places. We
wanted to see Beverly Hills.
Yeah, Beverly Hills.
Yeah, you need a car.
We wanted to go to the hills and all that stuff. So, yeah, some people don't give a shit about that, and they care just about that Times Square feel.
Yeah, and that's true.
And if you do, that area, you was good.
Yeah, and again, no shade or anything. Like, we had a great time. Like, it was really a transitional moment for us, I feel like. I'll say for me, I don't want to speak for you. It was really transitional. But what I will say, the top one thing about California that is a plus is the weather. Like, just the beautiful weather. Like, we had one bad weather day, but just being able to wake up to that weather and know that out of 365 days a year, 330 of them, you're going to get that weather. I'm with it. I'm sold on California. I won't say I'm sold on LA. I'm sold on California. So that was my Southern California, because I know Northern California is a completely different climate. So that was my wow. My woe was the cost of living in California is crazy. And I think this is not just the LA thing. It is a California thing. It's a statewide thing. Just talking to some people who was telling us, I forget who it was, it doesn't even matter, just talking to some people about the cost of living. Like, somebody said you can find like a 2-bedroom 2-bathroom place for like $700,000.
It might have been an Uber driver or Snoopy.
Oh yeah, one of the guys. Okay, yeah. So I mean, it was just, the cost of living is crazy. They had apartments that sleep 4, mind you, that's not to say 4 bedrooms, sleeps 4. So you might have 2 bedrooms,
a futon and a day bed,
something like that.
but
And it was
in full disclosure, sleeps 4 plus 3 bathrooms.
Yeah, so everybody got, or at least most people got their own bathroom, or maybe you got one guest bathroom for like visitors, and then 2 and 2
with
bathrooms.
Tubs, yeah.
That's all fine. $2,300 per person.
It's like $11,000 for an apartment.
So you're basically paying $2,300 a month to rent a bed, not even to rent a room because you don't have your own room. It's and a nice, beautiful, luxurious apartment, but just the cost of living. I mean, and looking at the numbers and looking at some places, I know that it's a transition that we could make. If that's something that we wanted to do, he really wants to relocate to California, and I'm with it. It just would take a lot of research because the cost of living there was like, it makes you think just, I won't digress too far, but as we talk about this national crisis of so many people not having jobs and stuff, it's like, the cost of living is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I know California is on the high side. I kind of did some research where it's the 3rd state. Hawaii's number 1. I forget what's number 2. California's number 3. The 3rd most expensive place to live. Yeah.
Well, I wonder how many
in the top 10 out of 50, New Jersey's number 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think New York was I think maybe it's New York. I don't know. I think New York was in the top 5. Nevertheless, California's number 3. Very expensive.
I would think New York would be like up there after California or before. I mean, you said it's number 2.
I don't remember. Hawaii was number 1. California was number 3. I forget what was number 2.
New York would be number 2, but who knows? It could be. Oh, that's me over here, right?
States. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. What was your wow or woe, whichever you want to start with?
My wow was being away in California. Yeah, it was great. I haven't been over there since I was fucking 8-9 years old, and
You were that old?
Yeah, we lived in a place called Sunnyside.
Okay.
And I don't even know where that's at, like compared to like Compton or Watts, or even if it's near a place like that. But yeah, just always good to go away. Always good to have some time together, and in a different place, just making a different memory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a memory added to the bank. What was your woe?
My woe, in full transparency, because while people love this show and love us, we went out to California and had a complete meltdown, me and my wife. We just wasn't vibing on each other the first day we was there, and that's marriage, that's love, but we were smart enough to tap to our resources and use our tools, and I co-signed what she just said. Just like she just told y'all, we had a great fucking weekend, a great 4 days. I co-signed that. We did, and we did some stuff we never did before. We hiked the fucking Gin on the goddamn mountain. But yeah, we that was one of my woes, is that every time we not 100%, it bothers the shit out of me. And yeah, we went out to California, got on the plane, and we had a fucking meltdown. But in full love and in full marriage, we hit our resources, we tapped into our tools, and we had a fucking awesome time. So that's kind of like a wow in a wow.
Yeah, and you know what I have to say? I'll give you your flowers in front of those watching. I don't know, this is something that we'll continue to work through in therapy. I know I can be very stubborn, and sometimes when we hit a wall, it's one of those things like, I don't know, my mind goes to a different place, and it's like, do I need to change my flight? Should I be flying out? Should I pack my stuff? Should I get enough? Like, my mind just goes to I think, self-preservation mode. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm going to be all right. And I don't know whether that's that strong black woman mentality that we, sometimes have, where it's like...
It's little Tasha.
Okay, maybe it's little Tasha, me wanting to protect little Tasha, or me not wanting to let little Tasha down by feeling like she can't bounce back on her own, or whatever the situation is. Nevertheless, I'm happy that my husband took the initiative to tap into our resources, like he said. Basically, it's like, you go away somewhere and you get sick, and it's like, need to go to urgent care. And that's really what we had to do. And you know, even going through that process, you know, it was about a 3 hour period that got deep and dark, and on the other side it was so bright and beautiful. And I'm grateful that we balance each other in so many ways, because if your mentality was like mine, you know, one of us might have got left out there, found in the desert somewhere.
I ain't getting left nowhere. I'm good. I'm straight. I can catch any flight I need.
No, I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying, you know, we might have just went our separate ways. But nevertheless, I'm grateful that, you know, you are the man that you are, the person that you are, and you know, we were able to do our thing. It turned out to be a really, really beautiful time together.
I love you, and sometimes I want to fight you, but I'll always fight for us.
Yeah. I think we should have like one day a month where we put, and I'm listen to me, hear me out. Couples, this might be good for y'all too. Let us know. Where you put on boxing gloves and you go to a gym, a facility. You do this monitored, right? So that, you know, it's in all fairness, nobody's hurting anybody. You know, you put on some gloves, you put on the headgear, even if you got to put on one of them body gears or something, and you box. Once a month, you have a boxing day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be good. And this is not to say, like, oh, couples should fight and beat each other up.
What is she saying?
No, but get some aggression out.
You better go hit a bag.
I
will knock you the fuck out, Tosh.
No.
What are you, crazy?
You think you would.
Tosh, stop. They
you think you would.
Yourself.
You don't know what skills I have.
Stop. I will knock you the fuck out.
I think this is something that should be considered.
I will beat your ass.
I think we should put on, or you know what? How about you put on one of them bubble things and like you, rah.
So if y'all ever see us out and we together and loving on each other, but she got a fucking black eye, y'all know what she wanted to do. She wanted to go to the gym earlier that day and get some aggression out. And I lumped her shit. That's what happened. So we gonna be still good out. She gonna be all boo loving up on me, but her shit gonna be out here. You crazy.
I think it's a good idea.
You crazy. But yeah, just the hotel. The cost of living out there, I just wanted to piggyback on that, is like super expensive. We saw, but we looked up a house that was $33 million, $333,333.
I think, you know what? That's one of the things that rich people do, like just for laughs. Like, oh, just make the price all threes. 3-3, 3-3-3, 3-3-3. Like, they just did that to be funny.
But
or it might be somebody that's like, oh, 3 is our lucky number.
And I know it's people out there that be like, fuck that. I mean, that's too much for me. But when you see these places, it's like, all right, if I had billions of dollars, I'd live there. Like, you know, I would have to have billions of dollars, obviously, to have something like that. But it's so nice.
It is. It's nice. Beautiful. It's nice. It's like, luxurious.
God bless them. They worked hard enough to get that shit. But damn, it's so nice to be cut into a mountain like that.
Yeah,
it's nice as hell.
Give me my choice. I would take a 5-acre farm in the middle of nowhere where I can sit on my porch with a bra on and I don't have to worry about nobody seeing me. You know, a couple mini horses out there, a couple chickens running around. That would be my choice. But if he wanted to buy the house in the hills, I'll live there too.
What did you like the hotel?
I did. I liked the hotel. So we're a little bit hotel bougie. And you know, when I'm looking at hotels, I was talking to my sister about this. You know, I always look for 4 and 5 star hotels because I need to feel comfortable. And it's not even a matter of I want it to cost a certain amount of money. I have to sleep here. My body has to be in the bed.
You don't give a shit what it costs.
Full disclosure, we sleep in the nude. My skin gotta be in this bed. I don't want to work. And even and I'll say this, even in a 5-star hotel, you know, I'm still initially a little bit skeevy. Yeah, I'm a little bit skeevy about any sheets. I spray the beds down, you know, some antibacterial stuff. So I'm still cleaning and making sure. You remember I mopped the floor in Jamaica?
Yeah. any bed you go to, somebody fucked in a hotel. So
Yeah.
you can just count on
Any
that.
little decorative throw pillows, I get them off the bed. So even in a 5-star hotel, I know it still can be germs, but I have to have a level of comfort. So I said it to say the hotel was nice. It was very nice. It was very nice. No complaints. We're used to having a balcony. It didn't have a balcony. You know we love a balcony. It didn't have a It didn't have a balcony.
You like to get bent over on the balcony.
Baby, don't say
That's
that.
why you like the balcony.
I like to be able to go outside for some fresh air.
Okay. Between your legs.
But I love the fact that it was comfortable. The hotel food was really good.
It was.
Sometimes hotels have they have like their on-site restaurants and stuff be kind of janky because they just used to visitors. No, the food was really good.
It was.
The breakfast place was. The breakfast. We had breakfast for $75. And I ain't talking about nothing fancy. We had home fries, eggs, and sausage.
And that shit ain't no flex. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
terrible.
like the brag. We had coffee and apple juice. So the next time we went, we ain't ordered no coffee and apple juice. And I ain't ashamed to say that.
$6 a piece.
$6 of coffee, $6 of apple juice. Yes, it was free refills, but I don't care. So we calculated in our head, don't get no coffee, don't get no apple juice. That's $25 off the bill right there. Like, how dare $6? Like this, we went to Starbucks and it was less than that. So yeah, I mean the hotel was nice. I really enjoyed it. It was comfortable. It was a good time.
I enjoyed it too.
Wait, one more thing. Another requirement when we go on vacation, in addition to of course just the accommodations being nice, the shower has to be big enough for us to be shower buddies.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Ripped my arm off.
I apologize.
Yeah, the shower's got to be big enough, and it was nice. Everything was cool. I didn't like the fact that we have a balcony because I had to keep going back downstairs to smoke. But I found a little back alley on the side there.
Literally.
They had a little back alley back there where you could smoke, and cops and shit was riding past, security guards, and they wasn't like I'm cut from a different cloth still, where smoking in front of law enforcement of some kind still bothers me, and being in a state where it's legal. Like, I felt like frozen when they were walking by, and they was just like, hey, how you doing?
Not paying them no attention.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, okay, this is cool out here. Like, that was just a weird feeling. And, yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
it was even like the hotel staff, sometimes the little people might be put a little off guard because you always see people going outside to smoke at facilities. Smoke cigarettes. I don't think I smelled anybody outside smoking cigarettes. I think everybody outside was smoking weed. And I'm talking about black, white, young, old, men, women. Everybody was like going outside in a respectable manner. Nobody was, standing. It wasn't that type of establishment to be standing in front of the door doing that. But everybody was kind of off to the side smoking weed.
Smoking joints, smoking blunts, coughing up a storm out there.
Like in the bushes.
That's another thing. LA weed is different. I've experienced it. I wanted to experience it for a while. It's different.
So, question: you're a pothead? Like, no, I say that in the most respectful way. Like,
it's a lifestyle.
I say that in the most respectful way. You're not just like a casual smoker. Like, about the industry. What's better, Jamaica weed or LA weed?
Damn. LA weed. Because of the potency and the selection.
Okay.
So in Jamaica weed, I had that critical kush, which was like smoke your face off with that. But in LA, like the variety, like the Gary Payton, the Runts, like those brands you can't get back here. And if you do try to get something like that back here, it'll just be like some dookie in a designer bag. So it won't be.
So people save the bags or recreate
you can buy them on Amazon.
The bag. That's some shady stuff. So they got knockoff weed. Ain't that something?
You can buy Louis Vuitton bags on Amazon, weed bags. You can buy anything.
That's some craziness.
Yeah, beehive bags of weed with the bee on it for, like it's good, but it's dookie.
Yeah. but LA is better.
Yeah, LA weed it's much better, and it's a hell of a variety. You go out to LA. We went to Cookies, and that was in Melrose.
That was in West Hollywood. It was on Melrose.
Oh, on Melrose in West Hollywood. But that was a dope experience going in that dispensary. It's way different than a medical dispensary because they got the music playing, people all over the place.
My senses were overstimulated. I had to go outside. I'm serious. Like the music was playing, weed everywhere, the sounds, the noise.
But you didn't smell no weed.
You didn't smell weed, but it was like so many people. So we stood in line for a couple minutes, and I was like, I'm gonna be. And plus, at that moment, we were on our best, and I was like, I'm gonna be outside. I had to go outside, and my senses were too overstimulated. I couldn't stay in there. But it was definitely a different experience to see, like, wow, these people. It literally looked like a weed candy store, like little jars everywhere,
little bags everywhere, gummies everywhere,
super friendly people. But music, I couldn't take it.
Baked.
Yeah.
Like everybody in there hot, either on some gummies or some drops or something.
Yeah.
But it was cool. And they take your name and then you pick what you want and then they call your name. So it's like real personal.
You know what's interesting that you say that? I read something today that said, in a day and age, and this really reminds me of that store. In this day and age where dispensaries look and operate like Apple stores, they need to release all these people that are incarcerated for crimes affiliated with marijuana.
Yep.
Like, this is really something that needs to be reconsidered. Like, are you serious?
Millions of dollars a year in that store. Like, that's a people come from all over to go to cookies in LA.
No, literally, like, again, I had to stand outside and coming and going. And again, young, old, black, white. Like, I know you have to be 18 or 21.
You have to be 18.
Okay, because some of these people, I was thinking, like, she got a fake ID. But then I'm thinking, okay, if they're 18, that really is a kid to me. Like, they're old. I'm old enough to be their parent. And they really look young. Like, it was so, not everybody, but I'm just saying there were some people that were so young. But it was so much traffic in and out. I mean, people pulling up in Benzes, all kinds of cars, jogging across the street. White men looking like they just like finished a business meeting or let me go grab something on my way home. It was all kinds of people going in and out of that place.
In a state where weed is recreational like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was in
This feels weird, especially to me, because my whole life I've been like, hiding the fact from law enforcement or authority of some kind or fucking security guard in a store. Like, anywhere, it's like, I ain't smoking out here. But there, it's like, yeah, we good.
And it was in such an inconspicuous place. Like, it was, you can see it. The building is blue. It's there on a corner. But it was like in a random neighborhood, Melrose Avenue in Los Angeles. Down the street, it was a couple cafes and shops and stores and stuff. But it's just like, it wasn't like a center city type area. You ride through and it's like, oh, there's the dispensary,
Mm-hmm. It was dope, though. Hollywood Hills.
So one thing about me, y'all see, I have a lot of, God blessed me with some more meat than others. He just wanted me to.
She got girth.
Girth?
Yeah.
That sounds like I like lift the medicine balls or something. Nevertheless, I ain't never been a small woman at all in my life. But don't judge a book by its cover, because I love physical activity. I wish that I would have done more of it in my life, but I love physical activity, which is, people might find.
Dope at sports. I
know.
You should have played sports when you was young.
Would, because
but she ain't no team player.
I'm not a team player, but I should have stuck with tennis and swimming. Those are the things I should have stuck with.
But they ain't gonna make you no money.
Well, and I love activity, physical activity. I'm very competitive with myself more than anything. But definitely in a team sport, I've been
track would have been your shit.
Maybe track, yeah. I said it to say I love outdoorsy stuff. Like I love fishing. But one of the things I really, really, really like is walking and hiking. And I think like that's going to be our new thing. Like any place we go. No, but we'll be prepared. We knew we wanted to do it, but we weren't really prepared for it.
We knew we wanted to do it because we thought it was flat.
Well, I knew I wasn't flat. Oh, you thought it was flat. So
yeah.
Runyon Canyon we went to, and this is the second time we went like on a real hike. But this was more of a city hike than when we did El Yunque in Puerto Rico, because that was in the rainforest, like literally rainforest. That was
big ass leaves.
Such an accomplishment.
Leaves as big as us.
That was such an accomplishment. Like, that was my first mountain I hiked.
It was wet the whole way.
It was crazy, a crazy adventure. But Runyon Canyon we did, and it just felt good being in nature, outside, pushing ourselves. Because I'm gonna tell you, no lie, after the first 3 minutes, we were like looking at each other like, do we really want to do this? Are we really going to do this?
I did.
And I'm telling him, like, the moment you get tired, if you say you had enough, let me know and we can stop. But mentally, I was just trying to, like, keep him motivated. We stopped at a bench. I didn't complain. We sat at the bench as long as we wanted to. Then we would keep going a little more, keep going. I will say this. Not just white people, but I'm going to say white people. White people in California got dogs. I think every single person in California has a dog. One thing about me, I have 2 feet. Well, no, not just 2. I don't like animals. Like, when I say that, meaning like animals that like are outdoors can run up to me. No possum, no deer, no
She threatened to punt a dog off the hill.
No raccoons. And everybody had a dog, and almost nobody's dog is on a leash. I used to be extremely terrified of dogs. I've gotten much better. But I'm still afraid.
We used to have a dog. I don't know how you have such a fear of dogs.
Because it was ours.
But still, I'm telling you, all you got to do is say, hey, Poochie, Poochie, Poochie. Hey, Poochie, Poochie, Poochie. And she think that's calling the dog. Where the fucking dog is looking for somewhere to piss, looking for somewhere to shit. It ain't even thinking about you. Even the biggest dogs, the bulldogs, the Rottweiler, the goddamn boxers, they wasn't even thinking about you. These are
I was ready to jump on his back.
She had to realize where we were at. These rich dogs don't want to bite nobody. They want to go back to their Beverly Hills houses and eat their steak in their bowls. I'm telling you, they're not worried about you.
But it was so many dogs. As we went on, my fear did subside some. Except when we was coming down the hill and I thought the man blew the whistle.
And we seen like shit you see on TV, like a real dog walker. Like I've never seen that in Philly. Yeah, 15, 20 dogs, and she in the middle.
Going up a mountain.
Just walking. Like I never seen nobody walk that many dogs. That's a lot of goddamn dogs.
Yeah. But yeah, Runyon was a great experience. It's dogs everywhere. You have to get past the smell of dogs. The weather was beautiful though. That was one thing that I was really happy about. It's warm and you feel the sun, but it's cool. So the weather wasn't a factor at all. I mean, of course, you want to dress appropriately so that you don't sweat too much,
right.
But it felt amazing. I love being outdoors and doing nature stuff. I think maybe I was like a woods woman in my former life.
Really?
Or I was a farmer. I love farming.
Yeah, farming. What is the Walk of Fame to me was a little underwhelming.
You know what? I've heard...
And I think it was because of 2:00 in the afternoon, all these fucking people. It's like Times Square. It's like you can't really look and see. And then it's just like a name. It's not.
Yeah. You know what?
I thought it just had more of a wow factor.
I've heard people say.
Like it was corded off and.
Yeah, well, I've heard people say, like, when they get there, and maybe it was Kevin Hart, I'm not sure, but I heard somebody say before, like, making a joke about where their star was, like...
Next to a pile of shit or something?
Or like, yeah, it's in front of, like, the Chinese... We had the worst Chinese food ever, but that's another thing. Like, but I've heard people make jokes about it, like, where their star was, and now, when you see it, you're like, oh,
yeah, I
okay.
seen somebody that made a joke saying their star was on the handicap ramp. Like on the slope going down.
And it's possible like it was. Because if you've never been, where it is, I would say it's like Times Square, but where Times Square would be like a 10, it's probably at a 5. So it's not nearly as big and crowded and lights, camera, action as Times Square, but it is. Like, it's not as much, but it's still that same feel. Like, it's not as big, it's not as many people, it's not as many blocks, it's not as many establishments, but it's still that tourist that's
tourist point.
Yeah.
That center point.
Yeah.
Um.
And we found Kevin Hart, Whoopi Goldberg. Beyonce doesn't have a star, but I did find Destiny's Child.
Jay-Z don't have one either.
No. I didn't see Diddy or Mary J. Blige, but I did see Queen Latifah and LL Cool J.
Yeah,
and
I
the
did
Fugees.
see them too. I didn't see. Yeah, I did see the Fugees.
Yeah. We saw Viola Davis. We saw a lot of people. Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
You know, after a while though, it's like it's so many people.
And one side of the street is old Hollywood, like Sidney Poitier and James Cagney and old ass actors, Tom Henson.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of names. Yeah.
Did you unpack our Buddhas?
Not yet, but I will.
We got these Buddha statues. Ain't they Buddha statues?
I don't think they're Buddha statues. They're just sculptures of our faces.
They're not Buddhas?
Buddha is like a man, like a person. Like that's a specific thing. It's not really a Buddha.
I thought the Jew was a Buddha that did it.
No, it was an Asian man who made a sculpture of us, a portrait, but not a painted portrait, a sculpture of our face. And I guess it does have some of that patina look like some Buddha statues have. But he did a good job. It was like one of those touristy things. I was surprised that he was with it and that he wanted that. He's usually not that type of person. He's usually pretty practical with things, but I was with it if he was, and that was great.
Yeah, I never had nobody do a sculpture. I mean, I had a cartoon drawn before.
Yeah.
I had an old-fashioned a photo before. I never had no sculpture.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it looks a lot like you. We can take a picture and post it too.
How was the flight?
The flight going, I have very bad motion sickness. Like, it don't take much for me to get sick. I got sick immediately taking off. Like, I don't know whether it was the wind going that way or what it was, but it was not good for me going. Every time I tried to, like, wake up and look out the window a little bit, it was like...
I don't be meaning no harm, but I don't be paying you no fucking mind. I don't.
I just go to sleep.
I know that you get sick, and I know that you won't be, like, easy, but... I barely check on you when you're sitting over there. I look over and your eyes just be closed and they be like, all right, she's asleep.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, oh, she feeling queasy or...
Well, I go to sleep in
her
order
eyes just shut, but she feeling a little nauseous. I just be like, damn, we looking out the window and shit.
Nah, I go to sleep to fight it. Like, if I stay awake, I'm going to feel sick. So I go to sleep so that I don't feel sick while I'm asleep. I don't think. Because I'm asleep.
How do you just go to sleep like that?
Oh, I can. I can go to sleep. If you know me, you know I can go to sleep anywhere. As long as I feel safe, I can go to sleep anywhere. And you know that. If I get
a bit narcoleptic.
Yeah. Coming home, no issues. Like, it was a comfortable flight. I slept again. I slept the whole time, just about.
I liked it because there was no babies.
Yes,
and
either way.
I was able to fucking, watch some shows and shit. But 5 hours is probably about the max right now for me. It's probably about the max. Like Hawaii and Greece, like I love to see those places, but I think I need like drugs for a 12-hour flight, like hard drugs.
Well, so I was going to say, how about you go to sleep? But when you go to sleep, you snore, and then I can't sleep because I'm worrying about you snoring too loud, and then I be on guard like, y'all better not say nothing to him because he's snoring loud.
Who gives a shit about those people? There be babies crying. There be people farting. Like, you didn't hear the man farting?
No.
Yeah, he was farting. And
in front of you?
And that man kept standing up and stretching his damn leg.
I ain't see that. I was asleep.
Yeah, like, nah, I don't give a damn about them people. And then I didn't know, but people actually walk around when it's time to walk around. I just thought that was some shit. Like, oh, okay, you can walk around and stretch your legs. People actually started walking the fuck around.
Yeah.
Like, conversating with people.
Some people have to, though. Circulation issues and stuff. Your legs
and sit your
tight.
ass down so we can get to where we going.
And we have a system. He takes the window. I take the middle. Whoever takes the aisle that way. We don't get up to go to the bathroom. We stay in our seat when they come around and offer.
That's not necessarily a good thing, though.
What?
Not getting up to go in the bathroom.
It's not like I be holding. I don't have to go. You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you do.
But I got to get past 2 people. It's like, fuck.
I don't have to go to the bathroom. I make sure I go to the bathroom before. I only drink one ginger ale so that I don't have a whole lot of, I don't ask for any coffee, even though I know they have coffee because I know caffeine will make me have to pee. Yeah, so it's a system in my head. Whoever sits next to me, they probably always think I am the best passenger neighbor ever because I don't bother them. They don't bother me. We don't touch each other. Like, nope, I sit there, I mind my business. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be in your business. Sometimes I peek to see what they reading or what they watching, but I am the best neighbor ever if you ever have the pleasure of sitting next to me on the plane.
Wow. She's a good neighbor. In the house or in the air. She's a good neighbor.
In the house I'm a good neighbor because I mind my business. I don't even know our neighbors. I mean, we say hi.
Alvin?
Yeah, I mean, I say hi, but like that's about it. Like
Yugoslavia?
I'm not going. Don't do that. I'm not asking for no sugar or no coffee.
No, who does that?
People do ask their neighbors for sugar.
No, like people don't do that shit no more. Like people rapists and really not people. Flower delivery guys can't be trusted. Ain't nobody barring sugar.
That's true.
What's your beef? So this week my beef is being in California. It was fun. It was great. But the homeless people out there, it's a lot of them. And sometimes I met a homeless guy, or we met a homeless guy in the back area. His name was Carlo. He was like out of his mind, but homeless. And watching these homeless people and seeing the tents on the side of the road and shit like that, it just makes you think like, how did these people get there? So it's like, for California being as rich as it is, like, can you build some fucking shelters? Can you do something about the homeless population? Because it's crazy how so many people are out there. It made my mind start to wonder, like, how did you get here? Like, is it just drugs? Did you lose a parent and you end up out here and lose your way? Did you lose a child and end up out here and lose your way? Did you have a breakup in your marriage? Did you lose a spouse? Like, how, or are you just on drugs? But what was your journey here? And like, what's your way out of it? But it seems like a city so big, $33 million houses, a bunch of rich people, and it's like there's no shelters, there's no outreach for these people. That's fucked up. So in a place like that with 40 million people, like let's get a grasp on the homelessness out there.
So can we talk about it?
Sure.
So when you say there's no shelters, there's no outreach, I beg to differ because I think there is, but I don't think there's.
I beg to differ, neighbor.
I just don't think that there are enough resources. So what do you think is a viable solution? Because I don't think that the shelters can. Well, one, let's address this. A lot of homeless people don't want to go into shelters.
I understand, but I'm just saying having a place to stay other than the street. And I understand it don't get to be 0 degrees out there, so that's kind of not an issue like it would be here. But you're talking about a city, specifically LA. But I mean, it's 40 million people that live in California. But LA is the richest. And it's like you got $1 million homes. You got, $11,000 rents on an apartment. And it's like you charging this to people. And not only that, who's renting those apartments? Because a construction worker isn't renting that kind of apartment. Like, you got to be in acting or something like that to rent that kind of shit.
Probably not. Probably like in tech or like a trust fund baby or something.
Or trust fund baby or whatever. But I'm just saying it's that kind of money in that city circulating. But the homeless population, like they take shits on the street, like out there. Like it's they defecate on the street. Like they pee up against the wall. Like they're just everywhere out there. And it's like you would think for it to be a tourist spot, that they would try to clean that up just a little bit.
So what do you think is a solution?
More outreach, whatever that look like, whether it's like some not institutions, I don't want to use that word to make it sound like it's a crazy house, but some mental health outreach, drug outreach. I mean, I saw a guy smoking heroin, right in the back of the alley there, like 20 feet away from us. Like he didn't care. He just sat down and started smoking heroin.
And again, we were at a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
And he was just right there.
That's just what, and the Duke and Carlo, like that would seem like his area. Like he hung around that side of the hotel and across the street at the 7-Eleven, like that was kind of his area. And
the
people knew him.
concierge, yeah, they knew him. They
Would
brought
give
him
him water,
waters.
yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. But he was literally, he wasn't in his right mind. You could tell just by the way he was acting and the way he talked. But he was lucid, you know.
He asked me for my bottle of water.
Yeah.
I had this much water left, and he asked me for it, and I gave it to him. And then
he kind of demanded it, like that was kind of like his vernacular, his cadence. He was like, "Hey, how about I get your water?" And you was like, "Okay, like you can have it."
Well, because I'm thinking this, I felt bad. Like, do you want a whole bottle? Because it's literally this much in there. He was like, "That's okay."
Hey, you got any money? I just want to buy some food. It's like,
and I gave him some chips I had, and then we found them on the ground the next day. He didn't like my chips. He asked me were they sweet.
This is the second homeless person I seen turn your shit down. Remember that man turn your steak down?
Yeah. We were coming from a very nice restaurant, and we had some leftovers, and he was walking by and asked for some money, and I offered him my food, and he said, "Well, what is it?"
$60 steak.
I said, "It's steak." And pizza, it was the flatbread left over. He said, "Oh, I don't eat cheese."
Steak. He was like, "What kind is it?"
Oh,
okay. Like, it's steak.
And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful.
Nah, I don't eat that.
to say like, oh, because you're homeless, you should just eat anything at all. I don't want to be demeaning in that way.
When we thought about it, he might have had some stomach issues.
Yeah, he was just very dismissive. Like, nah, I don't want to. It was coming from Del Frisco's, I think. It was like, nah, I don't want that. Like, oh, okay. But, you know.
So that's my beef. It's just the homelessness. I think that in LA, they should probably put, you know, just, I don't know what they do. It's my, you know, I'm just saying from what I saw in that city alone, that tourist spot, like, you gotta wrangle that together.
So you know how you've heard of some places that have like tent cities, and then they come and they abolish the tent cities where like they like, nah, get out of here, and they do whatever with that land, whatever it is, they just move them out. Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea? Do you think they should be allocated some land to, you know, have as and kind of cordon? I never know how to say cordon it off. Cordon it off.
It's called Skid Row. We should have went there, but it's far away, and a lot of people say you should go there just to take pictures and actually see it for yourself because it's so vile, it's so nasty, and it's so many people. But we didn't get a chance to go there. And a lot of people say don't go there because it's that bad. But Skid Row, it's where all the homeless people live there, and it's supposed to be like 60,000-70,000 people homeless there. So Skid Row is that, and I'm sure there's pictures on Google that you can see of drones and shit over top of Skid Row. It's like Kensington times 10.
But what I'm saying, when they abolish those places, do you think that that's a good idea and then the homeless are dispersed amongst the city, or do you think they should be allowed to have that centralized location? You know, kind of.
I think they go where they're comfortable at in their areas. Most of those people probably aren't far from family members or houses or something like that where a auntie or cousin might live, or I don't know, but I don't think they travel that far away from their areas. And once they get comfortable there, they're comfortable. And to push them out, it's not helping them because they have mental issues. So you got to address that. So you think
it's better off to leave them there? It made me think of The Wire. You remember when they were like, all go down here and do your dirt down here to clean up the city, rather than have you like
that's illegal. You can't do that. I mean, you're condoning it and you're forgetting about them. If you're gonna go there and make contact with them, actually fucking help them. Like, try to identify the people that have mental issues and talk to them. If you could try to and get them some help, if you could try to talk to some people and they're talking like me and you, then obviously you can say what's your problem, and they can identify and tell you, I'm on drugs, I have a drinking problem, I lost a child and lost my way. But if they have mental issues, they won't be able to communicate that. You can identify that, get them the proper help, and then start from there. Again, you can't just take a homeless person off the street and give them money and think that's going to help them.
Right.
You know,
they need resources and help and guidance.
And so they got to go through a little intervention of themselves, but they should offer that kind of shit. I just think in that kind of city where, they got $11,000 rents just on the corner. They got $33 million houses in the hills. Like, a lot of these people in this city are rich, and this is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's such a multi-level and complex issue. Like to peel the onion back, it can get really deep. Like you think about people like the basketball player who was homeless on the street.
Delonte was
He got help from a
a
gazillionaire
billionaire, yeah.
who, and now he's back on the street. So I think it's such a
But
there's so
everybody
many
knows he
complexities
has mental
to that.
issues. Everybody knows.
Right. So, but
Delonte
that's what I'm
West
saying. You think about him and magnify that by the homeless population, and we're just talking about LA. This is something that's prevalent in New York City.
Yep.
It's prevalent in Philadelphia. It's prevalent in it's prevalent in every major city. So I think the complexities of it is far beyond what. I don't want to say it can't be fixed. I think you got to kind of put a stopgap on it and then fix it from the beginning, like the root causes of veterans returning home, help them to avoid from adding to that population. And I mean this in the most respectful way. Eventually, that population will start to die off, but you don't want it to be like regenerative, where as you have people dying off, you have more people being added to it. Kind of take a step back and say, okay, we went wrong in a lot of places. What can we do to prevent the next generation of people from falling into that same hole? Like you said, people who have mental health issues, who have maybe has lost a child and just snapped, didn't know where to turn to for help, stop paying bills, stop going to work. Now you don't have a house, now you don't have family, now you don't have money, and you're homeless.
Right.
So I think that's where you have to kind of, and not to say you can't help any of the people that are already homeless, but let's take a step back and see what led some of those people to getting there. So then maybe you can potentially identify other people who's in danger for falling into that same trap.
That's my point. I mean, it's got to be some outreach to identify those people. They got to contact those people. They got to get out on the streets and contact those people. Like, you see so many people with money in their pockets walking by these people. And again, money ain't going to help, but you see people with food walking by them. There's stores everywhere, but they're out there going to the bathroom on the streets. They ain't eating. They don't have clothes on, shoes on. Like they sleeping balled up in blankets up against shit with a whole bunch of trash and their belongings. I don't want to call it trash, but their belongings. And it's like nobody sees this, or everybody's just walking by taking pictures and selfies and doing their own thing, and all these homeless people out here.
I think homelessness has become such a way of life in America, as crazy as that sounds. It's not all striking to people the way that it should be. We're just so used to it. Since you're a child, you see people now. As a kid, it's like, mommy, why is that man sleeping there? And as you get older, that just becomes the norm. But I do wonder
about the guy we seen walking out there holding his sweatpants, bleeding.
Yeah,
no shoes, no shirt, like holding his, if he let his pants go, they would fall down.
I do wonder what does that look like, and what does the homeless situation look like in other countries, other progressive countries? I'm not talking about third world countries. What does it look like in other progressive countries? Well, that's a continent, but yeah, some other European countries, right? Some Asian countries, and if it doesn't look,
London,
that's a city. Yeah, we'll work on the geography. UK, the UK, France, Italy, Spain. Paris is a city. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I live over here.
He knows the American history. Don't ask me the presidents, but don't ask him where any countries are.
No.
Yeah, but but what I'm saying, if it looks different there, then I think that's something that America needs to leverage and see. What are they doing different? What have they done differently? Because mental health is a human crisis. It's not just an American crisis. So, finances, poverty is a human crisis. So what are these other countries doing differently that they are mitigating, if they are, the prevalence of homelessness throughout their countries?
I mean, you would think of a rich place like a Dubai or something. I would love to see if there's homeless people there, like with rich people walking around. It's just so obvious to me to see, Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Porsches driving down the street, and Phantoms and Cullinans, and it's like homeless people everywhere.
Like on your route home, there's a tent, there's a row of tents.
It's crazy, and it's like, damn.
On your way up the hills.
I don't know what it looks like to change that, but some type of outreach to contact those people to identify who has the mental health issues, who is just on drugs, and who has like a issue of, like we said, you lost a child, lost a parent, you in a divorce, like whatever made you lose your way. Let's try to find you back. And the people that need the mental health issues, man, you've been in the street for 20, 30 years. Like, you need some serious, you might need to be committed. I mean, I don't know how far the mental issues go, but it's just something that should be addressed over there, especially with all the money around it.
You know what it makes me think about too? Two stories that I heard of about homeless, and I think they come from California. I'm not sure. One, the guy who had that voice that was like, and they like made him a radio show host or something. And then the other guy recently who is an artist, and he, they gave him an exhibit. I think that was in New York though. But he may have come from California. I don't know. But you think about, they're people, they're human. Can you imagine the skills and talents
There's a YouTube channel
within that population of people? Because not all people are drug addicts. They, like you said, there's different paths that could have led them there. But the talent and skills and education and resources and intellect that you have within that population that people just aren't able to utilize.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel I used to watch. I think it's called Forgotten People. I might be wrong though, but it talked to homeless people, and it wasn't here. I think it was in Europe or something, and it talked to homeless people and was asking them like what their story was and how they got there. And I'm talking like lucid people, like a woman who she was thinking was on there like 2 or 3 times, but homeless, like could work, was smart, but shit just didn't line up, and she ended up losing and didn't have nobody. But eventually they all get, well, not all, but I think his thing is socks, because he was homeless. So he's like, the only thing I wanted when I was homeless all the time was fresh socks. It always made me feel good. So that's his thing. He talks to these people and gives them socks. What's your beef?
My beef. And this may rub some people the wrong way, but I don't care.
Rub them, baby. Rub them.
I said what I said at the end of this after I say what I say.
If y'all think she said what y'all think she said it because she said it to me earlier, so I know she's saying what she's about to say.
What's up with y'all church people celebrating Halloween? And no, let me rephrase that. Not y'all church people.
Christians.
People are people. Churches. I don't get it. And when we talk about, or we hear about so many people, especially our youth, our black, I want to say our black youth, inner city youth, who are struggling with their spirituality, and they find that there's so many contradictions, and they're struggling to find a path and find a way. And yet here we are, I see churches asking for candy donations for trunk or treat parties. What's up with that? Like, really, like, how contradictory or hypocritical is that? And the reason why I say not people, because people gonna be people, whether you celebrate or not. I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do. What I am saying is that everyone knows Halloween is a pagan holiday. I don't think anybody can dispute that. And you may say there are some other holidays that are rooted in paganism. I'm not here to have that conversation, at least not today. But Halloween, we know the ghosts and goblins and ghouls and all that stuff. We know what it's about. The witches, yada, yada, yada. And then you have some churches that say, oh, well, dress up in a costume, but don't be a ghost, don't be a goblin, don't be a devil, don't be a witch.
Be a pumpkin.
But you're still participating. If you're a fairy godmother, if you're a butterfly, if you're a pumpkin, if you're a garden, if you're a flower pot, if you're a tea kettle, short and stout, like whatever you want to call it, you're still participating. I just shout to me, like whatever you want to call it, you're still participating. And I just don't get it. And it really, sometimes I see stuff on social media, and this is people that I know. So this ain't no subliminal type stuff, because if you're watching this, I'm talking about you. So I might not be saying your name, but I'm putting it out there. It really makes me rub my head, and sometimes I want to comment and be like, what's up with this? Why are you doing this? Or why is this church or this foundation or this organization promoting this? Like, is this what's up? Is this like, that don't sit right with me. We don't celebrate Halloween just because we don't, and I ain't gonna say we're no uber Christians. It's just not something that we do. That's just that. But
because of that reason though, like we don't. To us, it's like inviting in, just the juju.
And I feel like I don't want to do it a little bit. Like, it ain't going to be like, oh, we don't dress up for Halloween, but if you knock on our door, we're going to give you candy, because then I'm still participating. And I just don't want to be hypocritical in that way. Not to say there may not be some other things in life where we may come across as hypocrites. So what? I'm talking about Halloween. And I don't get it. And again, people will be people. You do what you want to do. But when the church is celebrating Halloween, that's one of them things. What's the old heads used to say? Things that make you go,
That's real old, babe.
That's my beef. I got a beef. Let's get into it.
That's fucked up, because I was brought up celebrating Halloween, and not till I met you, or maybe before you, not by like a girl or something, but I just heard in conversation that that's Christians don't celebrate that. Like, that's a pagan holiday. The ghouls and goblins, like, you're inviting types of spirits in, the witches and all that kind of stuff. And again, you said there's other holidays like that. We could talk about that another time. But everybody knows that's a pagan holiday. So for a church to do it is like, it just stamps the hypocritical thought that you have about churches, because it's like y'all doing something to pander to people for money, because that's what you're going to ask for when they show up with their kids. And the donations for the candy, like, y'all, if that's the case, y'all provide the goddamn candy for the kids. Like, but y'all asking people for donations for candy, I mean, it's something you shouldn't even be participating in. Like, that should be a service that Sunday about the where it comes from, how we don't celebrate, and this is what it's about, and why we don't celebrate. Halloween is on Sunday this year. That should be the service on Sunday. For people who go to church on Sunday, we don't. But for that Sunday, it should be, this is Halloween. This is where it originates from. This is out the Bible. This is why we don't celebrate. This is why this church won't ask you for nothing like that. And this is it. That's the service for Sunday.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I've celebrated Halloween before.
Yeah.
As an adult, I have worn a costume, or maybe not a costume per se. I remember one time at a job I used to work at, like around Halloween, I like kind of drew on a little mustache and wore a hat like to look like a man. But as I got older and evolved within myself, grew a closer relationship with God, it just became something that I didn't want to do. Not judging other people that do it, but I think when you have the institution of church, and this is why so many people have a problem with church, and the church further nurtures this contradictory ideology. And the reason why so many people are like, nah, I'm not doing that, is because, like, you of all people, like, you're the institution. Why are you pandering to the people? Like, to invite kids to pick candy and all that. And I know some people are going to say, oh, it's safer for them to get candy here than going to strangers' houses. Nah, it should be shut down. It shouldn't even be something that should be participated in. And I'm going to say this.
If you're a Christian, if you're not, but not as a person.
But see, I'm not talking about people though. I'm talking about specifically the church. Right. Yes, because I think that's where it comes from. If you go to church and you say you feel like, hey, your church is having some type of event, then why would you go home and not do the same thing? You know what I mean? It starts at the church. That's like where your foundation should be that's where you get your grounding from. It should be, at least. You should have a leader within your church that it instills that in you. So then when you go home, you're not setting out a bowl of candy by the door, because that's not but if your church is doing it, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take your kids trick-or-treating? Why wouldn't you buy them costumes? If the church is doing it, that's what's supposed to set the precedent of, or you kind of, the Bible is where we, get our guidance from. But the leaders in these churches and institutions is what is supposed to help us be like the teachers, or, it's just crazy. And this is another thing, and this may sound a little foolish, but follow me. We know in the hood, you have a lot of young men and women who, will follow Islam for whatever reason, whether it's a pack mentality, whether they're looking for some sort of spirituality and it feels like that's the right way to go, or whether they go to jail and it's a means of protection, whatever the reason
for whatever reason.
I don't know of any mosque that is having a trick-or-treat party. Never seen it, never seen a flyer, never heard. I grew up with some people who were Muslims like from birth generationally, so it wasn't like they converted. And then I know some other people who did convert to Islam. But never have I heard about the mosque participating. So when we talk about bringing men and women to Jesus Christ, but this is the message, and I know this ain't no spiritual show, I know this ain't no religious show, but I'm just speaking about what's my beef. When we see here we have the church doing this, you figure it's always going to be that pull the other way, because why am I supposed to look what they over there doing? The church is having a trick-or-treat party with ghosts and witches
in the
and stuff.
church.
Come on, people, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. So that's my beef.
I agree. 3 grams. 3. First U.S. passport with an X gender has been issued. So somebody got their passport. They got no gender, no male, no female, just X.
So
it started.
So my thing is this, right? Always got a thing.
Let me know your thing, baby.
How far are we going to go with this? Because your passport, I think,
is like people they and their, like,
is the highest level of identification, right? That's like federal. On a state ID, you can opt to not have a photograph because of your religious beliefs or so,
which is crazy to me, because how do you identify somebody without the picture? I thought that was the whole thing, the picture ID. I didn't know a religion can opt you out of an ID with no picture. Like,
I experienced it firsthand when I was a bank teller.
You can just have a school ID. Like, you can have any kind of ID with your name on it, but I don't know how that's valid.
I experienced it firsthand as a bank teller, but that's at the state level. At the federal level, the passport or place don't play that. So what happens if you're X gender because you were born male and you don't want to identify as male? I guess you don't want to identify as female either. So that's why you're an X. So that's called binary. Right. So are you going through a transition from male to female? And if so, once you make that conversion, do you have to take a new picture? Because I'm thinking you're going to look different.
Maybe you're not going through a transition. Maybe what used to be, what is now binary, is bisexual. Because if you're not identifying today as a woman and today you're a man, then or for however long, then you like women, or you're a gay man. But if you're identifying as a woman, maybe you like men, or you would be a gay woman. But I'm just saying, it's all on what you identify with. So maybe you kind of drift back and forth, because it's like, I don't want to be a male because I feel like this sometimes. I don't want to be a female because I feel like this sometimes. So you're not necessarily making a hard decision to say, I'm going to be a male to a female or a female to a male, but you're just like...
But that doesn't necessarily
mean... And to us growing up, that was just bisexual. Like, you just mess with both genders.
But I think you're incorrect.
What's weird for me is, I don't know how you are a male and become a female to be a gay female.
Well, but that's where I think gender and sex are two different things. You can be binary, meaning you sometimes identify as a man, sometimes identify as a woman, but not be bisexual, because you can let's just say you always like men. So when you identify as a man, you're having relations with a man and you're
That's
gay.
What I just said.
But let me finish. When you identify as a woman, you still having relations with a man. I guess you're in heterosexual mode, but you're never bisexual because you're never messing with a woman. So your gender changes, but your sexual preference may not. So that's what makes you bisexual if you're sexual. So I don't think binary and bisexual are interchangeable. It can be. You can have a binary person who is bisexual, or you can have a binary person
that's not bisexual.
Yeah, it's too
But that's just and maybe I'm ignorant in thinking that, but if you're a male and you don't want to identify as male, you want to identify as a female, I would think you would have relations with men. But I also know there's a possibility that you can be a gay woman. Like, I don't understand that, but you can be a gay woman, or a man that wants to identify as a woman, but now you don't want men. I don't know.
Let me say, you hear how complicated this sounds? God didn't make it this complicated. And this ain't no bashing against anybody that choose any kind of lifestyle.
Don't get canceled.
We're not getting canceled because I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't supposed to be this complicated, and maybe it's just not anything that we need to think about because it ain't a part of our life. But you're right, at some point, will we be forced to think about it? I mean, we're kind of headed towards the end of our careers. It's not like we're starting a job, but imagine being a 22-year-old going into corporate America, and this is the stuff you got to think about. Is my boss binary? So some days Jane wants to be called James, and then some days she wants to be called Jane, and I have to be able to identify, did she wear heels and stockings today, or did she wear a suit?
You're going to be in a conversation and you're going to say, she gave it to me, and that person's going to be offended by you saying she. They're going to tell you,
because they want to be they.
Yeah, they're going to tell you, I don't identify, don't call me that. And it's going to be like weird to you because it's like, you're going to feel like, damn, I didn't do anything wrong, or I don't feel like I said something wrong, but to them, again, you can't tell somebody how to be offended.
But just think about the fact that
they could be standing there as a girl, dressed as a girl, in a dress, and you go, yeah, such and such, and she gave it to me, and they'd be like, don't call me she, don't refer to me as that. And you sitting there looking like you got long hair, earrings, dress, makeup on. Why wouldn't I call you she? But to her, that's offensive. She wants to be called they because sometimes I don't identify as a woman.
But see, being called he or she is one thing, but now I have to identify this single person with a plural pronoun as they. So now you are one person, but I have to refer to you as
they
two.
gave it to me, not she, not he. Even a man could do that. If you say he gave it to me, or I got that off his desk. No, that's not right. You got that off they desk.
You know what I think it'll be? It will make it a little simpler, I think, for people having to navigate that world. Just call everybody by their name. Sally gave it to me. Sam gave it to me. Jill gave it to me. Jack gave it to me.
That's true. But then that's tough.
Then we're not going to use pronouns.
They'll force you to.
It's exhausting. And guess what? I'm sure for the people that's living that life, it's probably even more exhausting for you. So God bless.
Yep. God bless the LGBTQ community.
LGBTQIA+.
LGBTQIA+ community.
You mixed it up.
Facebook is called Meta now. No more Facebook.
Why, I wonder?
People gonna still call it Facebook. Your mama named you Facebook. I'm gonna call you Facebook.
Wow, that was a good one, babe. That was a good one.
So now it's Meta. I'm not on Facebook yet. I will be for the business, but Meta.
Is there something else in our life that we always knew is one thing that changed to another?
And the reason behind it, he said, is because in the future, he has different plans because he didn't know that Facebook would be as damaging as it was to society. So changing it to Meta is a look towards the future to do different things with it.
It's still going to be what it's going to be. But has there been anything else in our lifetime that you can think of that's been like such a huge brand name that has had to change? The only thing I can think of, and this is just really weird, is the hospital, Women's Medical. If you're from Philly, you know.
Used to be osteopathic?
No, it changed to MCP.
Oh, yeah.
But it was Women's Medical. But people, I think for the most part, people always still refer to it as Women's Medical.
I think when I was young, they called it the O.
Osteopathic was a completely different hospital.
Was it?
That was on City Line Avenue, and then it changed to PCOM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Women's Medical, this was on Henry Avenue.
Right, at the top up there, right before Abbotsford Projects.
Right after Abbotsford Projects,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, I think that's. So, I mean, that's a hospital, but it was.
If you was going up, you turn left to go in.
Yeah. Is there any brand that
Well, that's not worldwide, though.
Well, no, that's what I'm thinking. Is there any brand that you can think of in our lifetime
that changed the name?
Yeah, and that people
marketed it's different now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something shit. You know where my mind is going to the game logos.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of something that was branded big and changed.
I know one thing: Bell Atlantic to Verizon. Okay.
That's one. Bell Telephone, yeah.
Yeah, Bell Telephone kind of went away and then changed to Verizon, and
Yeah.
that stuck.
Yeah. A bunch of these phone companies did the same.
Comcast and Xfinity, but I don't think Xfinity caught on. I think people will always refer to it as Comcast. And I just asked because I'm just, like you said, your mama named you Facebook. I'm always call you Facebook. I was just trying to think, do you think that name will eventually catch on, or will people just always call it that?
I think it's always going to be called Facebook. People are always going to do that. You know, it's weird in baseball. The PETA people are attacking baseball because they want to stop calling the bullpen the bullpen. Do you know what the bullpen is?
The bullpen.
The bullpen.
Yeah, it was where like the people.
The closers warm up and pitch. A closer is the pitcher that only comes in the 8th and 9th inning. He's not the main pitcher. The main pitcher pitches from 1 through 6, and the closers go 7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
So it's 3 guys, 7, 8, and 9. The 7th inning guy, the 8th inning guy, the 9th inning guy. They throw the ball and pitch and warm their arm up in the bullpen. That's what it's called. PETA people are saying bullpen refers to bulls being slaughtered. That's what a real bullpen is. It should be changed to the arm barn.
Mind your business, Peter. It ain't no animals involved, so now you don't even want people to use animals in their terminology. I know you don't want animals.
Sensitivity of society.
I know you don't want animals to be harmed, and that you know I'm all with you. I'm not. I wear leather, so I'm not that far, and I eat meat. But I get it. You don't want animals to be harmed. But now you don't even want the terminology to include animals when they're not being harmed like that. So yeah, you're going too far.
Yeah.
You're going too far.
Tiger King 2.
Really?
Coming out.
So wait, let's revisit. Tiger King, he went to jail.
For 22 years.
He's getting out now?
I think so.
And he's
Just
going
see the snippet of it, but Tiger King 2 is coming out.
Wow.
I think Trump has something to do with it.
He got him pardoned?
I think he has something to do with the documentary. Part 2.
Wow. It's what, you know, that was one of them things that like caught on like wildfire.
Caught
and
on
it
like
was
Squid Game.
It was kind of like
the
a
last
bad
thing
car wash.
I remember of something as big as Squid Game is the Tiger King. And that was right in the beginning of the pandemic, remember?
Not really. I mean, I remember, but I don't remember.
Everybody was saying, watch it, watch it, watch it. It was right in March, in February and March. And it was like, watch it, watch it, watch it. And then we honed in and watched it in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was one of the first shows we binged on when we started watching TV like that.
Yeah.
In the pandemic. We watched Tiger King and was like, what the fuck is this?
You know what? That's when you say it's the first thing we binged on, you know, binge watching has gone too far too. People binge watch everything. Yeah. It's like it's taken it's almost to the point where that instant gratification has gone too far. Now we enjoy when a series comes out and all the episodes being available, so you don't have to just watch one. You know, you do a couple at a time. But people will literally watch
10, 12 hours of TV.
In like a 24, maybe 48 hour period of time. Then it's like, oh, what's next? I need something else. Like,
and I'm the guy on Sunday that has 11 hours of football on, but I'm eating. I take a nap. Like, there's some downtime in between that, but it's like on in the background. But to sit and watch 11 straight hours, that's a lot.
I don't think it's healthy. And I, you know, I've been watching. First of all, you know, my attention span, I'll fall asleep. 2 episodes, I think, is like my max. Mid-3rd episode, I'm falling asleep. Like, yeah, so.
No matter how good it is, you're falling asleep.
Yeah, no matter how, I can't. Like, my sisters and I will be like, oh, let's watch this. They may be finished on day 3. I'll probably be finished like day 8. Like, I can't do that. Like, first of all, I don't have enough free hours in my day to watch stuff like that. And then again, after 2 episodes, I'm out. And then I got to restart episode 3 again. But binge watching has gone too far. I see so many people say, oh, I watched such and such last night. Like, I need something new to watch. It's like, you watched all of it?
You
like,
remember that in the beginning, baby? We watched Tiger King and Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
Like, those are the first 2 things
but
we
again,
watched.
So this... You weren't, you know, you had the ability to be paid at home.
The luxury.
The luxury. I couldn't think of the word. So you weren't home. I mean, you were home. It wasn't like you were working. That's the crazy part. I mean, people, most people I know have jobs. So you're going to work, maybe dealing with your kids and stuff, and then still binge watching like a 10-episode series in 2 days.
On a Saturday, they'll watch 11 hours and then go out at night. But from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, they're watching 12 hours
I still ain't finished Squid Games. It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I think I still need to watch the last episode because I fell asleep on the last episode.
I think I'm good.
You
know what else I never finished?
What?
Orange is the New Black.
You didn't finish it?
No.
I think they're about to do another season, but that's a dope show too. There's another jail show on Hulu, some women in brown suits.
Wentworth.
No, not that.
Well,
it's another one. It's like a drama funny, like
oh, okay.
I don't know.
Dramedy. I like that term, and I like rom-com.
I like rom-com. I don't like dramedy. I like rom-coms. They're great movies. Yeah.
One of his favorite movies ever. You have to see Alone Came Polly.
Funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Funniest man with Ben Stiller and goddamn what's the dude who passed away?
I can't think of him.
Shit, I can't think of him.
Jennifer Aniston is the lady in it.
I can't think of the dude who passed away. Anyway, that's Act 2 the podcast wrapping up episode 42. Again, Act 2 the podcast website. Go on there. We got merch on there. We got hoodies. We got sweatshirts. We got hats.
But we will have an official website launch. So this is kind of just the preview. It's up and operating, but we are going to have an official website launch. So you'll see a lot of promotion behind that. Sure.
But, just go check out, view, see how it's operating. It's easy to navigate. Okay. Also, check our clips out on the gram, Instagram. Check the podcast out on Spotify, on Breaker, on Google Podcasts, on Anchor, on YouTube. We there. So that's platforms you can go watch us on. We coming for Apple Podcasts. We will be there soon. But right now, YouTube, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Act 2 the podcast, episode 42. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.